Hello everyone, my name is Federico Tozzi. I'm the Executive Director of the Italy America Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome all of you to our Masterclass Bootcamp on Molise, one of the smallest regions in Italy that we're going to talk about it later. So first of all, let me thank our hosts, Jackie Rothong and Michele Figliuolo from Middleby Residential.
Thank you.
They've been with us for a long time now, but we love them and we want to continue to do this all together. So thank you very much for hosting us here today.
Of course.
Today is going to be a little bit different than what we have done before, and I'll explain later why. Molise is a very small region, and there's a very limited number of products that we can feature here in United States from their region. So we're going to talk about the extra virgin olive oil, Molise DOP, which is this one here. But we also will take this opportunity to talk about extra virgin olive oil in general, because this is a topic that we have touched before, but probably not really, we didn't go in depth.
We didn't dive in yet, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm gonna let Jackie tell us and
Yeah.
Michele what you guys are gonna prepare today.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, first, thank you so much. We are so excited to have you guys in the Middleby Residential Showroom today in New York City, and we are cooking up something very delicious. I was actually excited to do this because it's hard to think of all the things and all the recipes that we make with olive oil. You know, we want olive oil to be the main feature, and I think it's important using olive oil in different ways. Like today, I'm going to be making a cavatelli with a broccoli stem pesto, and that's going to be very different than your classic pesto that you get, but olive oil is going to be that main ingredient that really balances out, and you want to make sure you're using a very good olive oil and what kind. So that's kind of what I'm interested in learning about. And Michele, I think you're making something where olive oil is like the main star.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I am. I'm making something a little bit more on the sweet side. So Jackie's going to do the savory, I'm going to do the sweet, and I'm going to do an olive oil cake. So some might think, what is that? But it's really just a beautiful, simple cake with the essence of that olive oil flavor, and then I have some orange in it, some orange zest, and it's something that is surprisingly really delicious, and you can have it, you know, a breakfast, a dessert, and then I made an olive oil gelato as well. So
Wow, that's great. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to try.
I think it's interesting because most people think olive oil is savory. So
Yeah.
to showcase olive oil in like a sweet dessert or a sweet breakfast, I think it's going to be really cool to see how Michele puts this together.
yes,
Yes.
can't wait. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to get started. I am first going to start making my cavatelli. So my fresh cavatelli, this is my dough. Normally I make it with just semolina and water, warm water, that kind of warms up the gluten. But with this, I'm actually doing a little bit of double O and semolina. I did a combo for a little extra bite. So what I did here, I made my dough, I let it rest for about, I don't know, 30 minutes. And then we roll it into ropes. So we're just gonna go like this. And this is gonna be what holds our pesto. This is a very classic, cavatelli is a classic shape found in Puglia, no?
It's absolutely, that's
Yes.
my region.
I know,
so
I know.
I'm really, really excited to try it.
Oh, amazing. He was telling me his mother normally makes this cavatelli. I was using a knife to go really fast, but with her fingers and her hands. So
Yes.
it's gonna be a fun one. So I'm gonna get started on this. Michele, you wanna
Great.
get started on your?
Yes, I'm going to get started on mine. So I'm going to start with the dry ingredients. So I have some flour here, and then I have a little bit of baking powder. I have a little bit of baking soda. Then I also have some salt that I'm going to put in here, and then some sugar. I'm actually putting the sugar into the dry. Sometimes people like to put the sugar into the wet ingredients, but I'm just going to do that here. And then I'm going to actually mix it all together with the whisk just to distribute all the, you know, different ingredients all together to make sure it's all mixed evenly. And then I'll start to do my dry and then put that into the wet once I get that going.
Now, how come you chose orange? Is that like a compliment to the olive oil?
It is, but you can use lemon. Like any citrus, I feel like is a nice complement to the olive oil as well. So, you know, you can do lemon, you can do, you know, orange, any citrus
Blood
would be nice. Yeah,
orange, right?
blood orange would be really nice too to get like a little different color.
There is a salad in southern Italy that they make with orange, and you know, it's a savory salad
Yeah.
that you use. It's a winter salad where you use oranges and you put on it extra virgin olive oil. So I think it's a perfect combination.
Yeah,
of this one.
a little, you know, a little bit of that olive oil with the citrus is so nice. And then I'm just going to start with my wet ingredients. So right here I actually have about 3 eggs that I'm going to start with. And then I have a little bit of orange juice that I juiced already before. I have a little bit of milk here, and then I'm going to take some zest, and then the main ingredient is going to be the olive oil. So I was going to ask you, what olive oil should I use for this?
Okay.
For something, on the more sweet side.
Well, we will talk about the extra virgin olive oil that we have here today, but I would definitely choose, this one. This is a Tuscan, olive oil. This is an organic olive oil. We featured this during our Tuscany class. It's an EGP, so it's a PGI extra virgin olive oil from Tuscany. So I think this would be the right complement to your cake.
Okay, so my question is that's good because it's going to be like one of the main powerful flavors in her cake. So in my pesto, what kind of olive oil should I use, do you think?
I think your pesto, I would go with the Molise one. This is a DOP.
Okay.
Also because in her case, this extra virgin olive oil is going to be cooked.
Right.
And in yours, instead, is going to be going in a sauce that will go with the pasta.
Right.
So I will think that I'm thinking that this one would be a better choice.
Okay.
So we'll try with that.
Amazing.
Yes.
And that's such a pretty bottle too.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So what are the differences that you would look for in the olive oils?
So let's start first of all with the main product that we are featuring today, which is the extra virgin olive oil from Molise, called the Molise DOP, Molise PDO. We have a company here that we are featuring, Marisa Colonna, which is one of the best producers from Molise. There are not too many producers in Molise. Molise is a very small region in Italy. It's between Abruzzo, Puglia, and Campania.
Did it used to be part of Abruzzo?
Yeah, they used to be that, and during when they in 1970s they became like separate regions. So now you have like Abruzzo and Molise as two separate entities. There are two main cities in Molise. It's Campobasso, which is the capital city, basically, and Isernia. So it's an interesting region. It's very small, but you have the mountains on one side, and you also have part of the Adriatic Sea. There is a very famous port called Termoli, and they make one of the best fish soup called Brodetto alla Vastese. Vasto is next to Termoli.
Okay.
So it's one of the places that I suggest you to visit. Actually, when I was little, my family used to take me there for vacations. So it's one of the traditional beaches on the Adriatic Sea.
Wow.
So let's talk about the extra virgin olive oil from Molise. So this is a DOP, so it's made with three main type of cultivar. Because when we think about extra virgin olive oil, we should use as a metaphor like the same thing we do for wines. No? A wine, it's made with grapes. Extra virgin olive oil, it's made with different type of olives. The olives are different. Italy has over 500 different type of olives.
Right.
And so the final result, which is the extra virgin olive oil, it's based on the type of olives that you are actually using, in addition to where those olives are grown. So you have different flavor profile based on the region, but also based on the type of olives that you are using. For the one from Molise, we have generally you have like 80% of a cultivar called the Leccino, and then the other and Gentile di Larino, and the other one it's generally Rocciola. These are the three main cultivar that you find in Molise.
Wow.
Today also we have another one called the Peranzana, which is actually very present in Puglia as well, and it tells you that they are right on the border. So we have another bottle over there, which is a single cultivar, and it's made only with 100% Peranzana olive.
Wow.
So I was going to say, what makes it, is it because it's close to the sea and because it's close to the mountains?
Yes.
Like that gives it that
I think the microclimate plays a role,
Okay.
Plays a role in wines, plays a role in many other products that you grow. We are lucky in Italy because we have so many different microclimates. So we have like a bounty of different products, and the extra virgin olive oil is one of those. So what I would say is a lot of people ask, even during our presentation, how do we recognize a good one? How much should it cost a good one? What's the difference?
That's a great question.
One of the things that struck me a few years back, there was a report, congressional report, that in 2014, that Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most counterfeited products in the United States and probably in the
Wow.
world.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it, because comparing something like this to like any typical grocery, you say you get an extra virgin
I mean,
olive
you
oil,
have
but-
grocery stores
Yeah.
that make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that they say that they make olive oil,
Yeah.
and it's
Okay.
like you're.
It's not.
I wouldn't
the
buy
same.
that.
Yeah.
I would say kind of far away from that.
Yeah.
So I think, during our previous episode, we talked about it, a few things that I believe people should really look for it. First of all, the trademark of the European Union as a DOP. If you want to buy an extra virgin olive oil, quality one, the easiest way would be to buy a DOP one.
Okay.
A DOP one means that there is a consortium. The producers, they have to make sure that they obey to the rules set up by the consortium, which it might be like when the harvest has to happen, the percentage of the different cultivar that they go into the final product, so you can have a consistent, in terms of flavor profile product as well. And the other very important thing for why I always suggest people to buy a DOP is because the Italian law doesn't require from producer to put the harvest year unless you have a DOP product. So, and there is a big difference between wines and extra virgin olive oil. Generally, wines tend to get better with age. Extra virgin olive oil, absolutely not.
And we were just
So-
talking about that too. That
Right, because
people,
there's no like aged olive
yeah,
oil.
people
Yeah.
do. I don't think people know that though. People
Yeah.
keep the olive oil in their cabinets for years, and it's not good.
That's really, really bad because generally the extra virgin olive oil doesn't age well, so you can have it for a maximum of 18 months, probably better. If I am a producer in Italy, so generally we tend to finish our production within the year. So you have like every year you have a new harvest. The other thing that it's really bad for extra virgin olive oil is exposure to light.
Light,
Yeah.
right? I was gonna
That's
say
why
that.
you see a lot of these bottles are dark.
Dark.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing that is really dangerous for extra virgin olive oil in terms of quality is the exposure to air and to oxygen, because basically oxidates the product.
That's
There
very
are some
important.
producers in Italy, and I was really surprised when I saw it the first time, that they really go all the way in terms of packaging. And I've seen instead using bottles, glass bottles, which is still a great way to store extra virgin olive oil. They use stainless steel container.
Oh, I
and
have
they,
seen that.
Yeah.
And they even had like a
cork?
No, they had a freon, which is a gas, to avoid any
air.
contact
Yeah.
with the air
Wow.
once they close it.
So really better is stainless steel.
Yes. Theoretically, that would be the best way.
Is
In
it
fact,
just more expensive?
Yeah.
yes, way more expensive.
Way more
Considering that at that time we asked those producers how much they were spending for it, and it was like €11 just for
Oh
the,
wow. And
for
now
the,
it's up even more.
for the container.
Right.
Wow.
So,
That's
and
crazy.
so that's my first suggestion. So first of all, buy a DOP. You have the harvest, and you can see it here. You have the harvest of the product, and it also tells you for how long this can be stored. So you have an expiration date. Try not to go after that expiration date.
Right.
You're not going to die, but probably it's not good.
Yeah.
Where
So-
can you buy these in the States?
These are available. I mean, it's like we source this one through an online retailer.
Okay.
There are many sources. Italy is one of those. And as a Chamber of Commerce, as a part of this True Italian Taste program, we are putting together a list of
The links of all the
retailers,
products. Oh,
where
that's
all the
so
products
great.
can be
Yeah.
can be
Everyone
sourced
will
and can be
love that.
found.
Great. That's
so
awesome.
that would be the first thing to look at it. Buying an EGT is also, a great choice. In this particular case, we have an EGT from Tuscany, and I brought this one because it's very interesting. Floss Olay, they put this little label here. It's the most important competition for extra virgin olive oil. So this company won.
So that's like
an
ratings,
award.
like wine.
Yes.
So olive oil
Yes.
gets ratings like wine does, and that's something that is not actually well known, I don't feel like, Federico.
Yeah.
Like I did not know
Yeah.
that was a thing.
Yeah, that's something that is not widely advertised.
Where is the competition?
The competition is in Italy.
Okay.
So they have several competition around the world as well. One of my colleagues, they are working with a big competition in Japan.
Okay.
Japanese are pretty into this extra virgin olive oil thing. So
Wow, really?
They are really careful, with what they buy. So it's a big thing. A lot of companies, they go there as well. So that would be my main recommendation. The other thing is look honestly to the price that you're paying.
Yeah.
I am a producer, and I can tell you that you can possibly find good extra virgin olive oil at the source for less than 8 to 9 euros per bottle.
Okay.
Per liter. So it's this is probably the bottom price.
Yeah.
So when you find here, extra virgin olive oil for $4,
Yeah.
and of course you have bigger companies that they can have economy of scales, so they can still give you a pretty decent product, a competitive price. But look for the price. The extra virgin olive oil, it's very it's expensive to make. So you can go below a certain price, and
if you see something that's $1, you know that
probably you should.
$2, yeah, it's probably not that.
Also, because not everybody knows that the extra virgin olive oil is the top of the olive oil. There are different type of olive oil that they are not. So you have extra virgin olive oil, you have olive oil, and you have this olio lampante, which is unfortunately every time they do some kind of counterfeiting, it ends up in the bottles, which in Italian, olio lampante means it's the type of oil that you use to light candles or something like that. So it's not something that you should be eating.
Yeah, you
actually.
don't
definitely
not.
So that's the important thing. You have situation like this. For example, this is a producer. We brought this one in another episode. It was in Tuscany. Yes, and this is not organic. It's not a DOP. It's not an EGP. But a serious producer tells you the harvest. So that's why this guy is not required to put the harvest in it. But he does it because he still thinks that it's a sign for whoever buys his product that he knows when it was put in the bottle and how fresh the product was. We have different example here. We also have this one it's an organic extra virgin olive oil from Calabria. As you can see, people go along all the time. They can change the shape, the bottles, and of course the flavor profile changes because once again we have Calabria, we have Toscana. This is just 100% extra virgin olive oil from Italy, so another good, maybe more price-sensitive choice. Yep. This one is a producer that you mainly sells all their production directly at the source in their farm in Tuscany. Then you have things like this. This is a condiment actually. So
I wanted to ask you actually, what are your feelings on the olive oils that come with different spices and herbs in them? Is that a thing?
I mean, commercially they make sense because people are lazy and they like it and it's easy. The possibility for people to use something in an easier way is always something great. Right. But I wouldn't do it. You can make this yourself.
Well,
You can do it. You're a chef. You both are a chef. You can make this yourself. You can keep it. Unfortunately, once you add spices and other things,
it's gonna spoil faster.
Yeah, it's gonna spoil faster, and so that's why I'm not a big fan when you go to pizza places in New York and they come up with the oil with red pepper in it. I never use that. I tend to use the red flakes because at least I'm sure that
those are okay.
Those are okay.
Exactly.
It's extra virgin olive oil is very interesting because a few years back we did a series of presentation with restaurant owners, and we wanted to show. Because one of the issues that we found out was that even if they're working in restaurants, they actually didn't know how to recognize great extra virgin olive oil. So if they don't know how to recognize it, the issue is how can they buy a good one?
Yeah, right, that's true.
And I was amazed because they were blind tasting, and this food educator that came from Italy, from one of the association of producers of extra virgin olive oil, brought some samples. They were bad. They were bad, with rancid,
oh my gosh,
exposed to light, old, and I saw all this, I can't mention names, but people that in New York, they have great restaurants, and they were like, they made a mistake. And one of the reasons was simply because probably a lot of these people never got exposed to the good products.
Yeah.
So, and they developed a taste for something that was bad from the beginning.
Right.
So and this is one of the things that we are trying to avoid, and we try to, this is also part of the program that we are, conducting here in the United States, the True Italian Taste, financed by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, organized with our association in Italy or the chamber, because we feel that educating people is the most important things to do.
And like you said too, with the chefs, like these could be amazing chefs, but here it's not really talked about as much that to look for these different things on these bottles and stuff like that. But by you explaining it now, I mean, we've even learned something for sure about this, because
we're not educated on it.
Yeah.
As chefs, as cooking in restaurants, it's just like you use whatever vat of olive oil is next to you, and you don't think about it. And the taste is kind of ingrained in you. You don't know. I mean, I'm sure we've cooked with olive oil that's not go to rancid. I'm like almost certain of it at this point.
Well, I think we find in a lot of American chefs there is at least they have a need, and they told us many times that they want to learn more. So we are organizing opportunity for them to learn more and maybe come to Italy and go and visit this wonderful olive oil mill.
Yes, to that.
Yeah. Hey, can we do that?
Okay, wait, let me just catch you up on what I've done over here really quick. So I took my broccoli and some of my broccoli stems, about 2 cups, and I blanched it. What does that mean? Boiling water, heavy salt it like it's broth. That's kind of like what I like to do. Not like the sea, that's a little too salty for me, believe it or not. Then I put it in an ice bath, which is just water and ice, and now I kind of drained it, let it dry out a little bit, and I have it in here. I also did the same thing to a piece of garlic, mainly because I do not love raw garlic. It's a little intense for me. It tends to be a little spicy almost, and everyone just gets agita from it, so we're just not gonna do that today. And we're just gonna put it in there, slightly cooked. I have toasted almonds, about 1/4 cup of those. Now I'm going to add my herbs. So I'm not doing the classic basil today. I'm actually doing parsley and mint. So we're gonna brighten it up because it's almost gonna be 90 degrees here in New York City in a few days, I think. So we're gonna kind of brighten and lighten it up. I'm not gonna add the cheese yet. I'm just gonna pulse all of this together. And at the end, I'm gonna add some lemon zest and our beautiful olive oil, our main ingredient.
Wow. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, but I have a question. So you're leaving the stems just on it because you're going to use the whole thing of parsley, right?
Yeah. For the herbs.
Herbs for the herbs.
Yeah. So you could also blend these up too, or you can pickle them and use them in another way, just because we love using all of our whole ingredients.
People always like throw them away, but they do have a lot of flavor in them still, right?
They have tons of flavor, and if you don't have a lot of herbs, that's like a good way to get started if you're making something. But you can see how green and like bright and beautiful this is, and those broccoli stems. So many people cut them off and don't use them. So I'm all about trying to use everything you got. This is a fun take on broccoli, Cavitalian broccoli, which is an American dish, right? That doesn't exist that doesn't exist in Italy, but this is.
But still using the same principle of like fresh ingredients, seasonal ingredients.
And you could, just smell that, honestly. It doesn't have the olive oil in it yet, but it has
really
garlic, parsley, mint.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a good combination. Not a lot of ingredients, but a lot of good quality ingredients, and I think that's what's important. So now I'm just gonna add a little bit of lemon zest.
Yeah, and then I'll talk really quick about what I did. So I had a prepared pan and I had a little bit of parchment underneath, but instead of taking some butter or, what people mostly use here, like Pam, which I don't really like to use, but instead of using that, I actually used the olive oil and just used, my hand and like kind of let the pan, prepare the pan and have it like that. So you can kind of see a little bit over here of the olive oil, but that's going to be great for when it's baking. And then I'm just going to throw this into the oven. So with the magic of all of this,
I was like, keep going this one.
I'll put it in the oven after, but I have a finished olive oil cake right here. So you can see it's nice and caramelized. The olive oil makes a beautiful crust on it. And I bake this for about 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, depending on the size of your pan and whatnot. And then I'm actually going to just finish it with a little bit of powdered sugar on top, which you can do that, or you can make a glaze as well. So you can, if you really want to make this extra, special, you can even add a little drop of that to the glaze if you wanted to do, just some powdered sugar and some water or anything like that. So I'm gonna.
And Michelle, I
finish
thought I
this
was
on
thinking
top.
another great idea for this. A lot of people in America always do like a simple syrup to finish cakes to make sure they're like really extra moist. And you could do like an olive oil Cointreau simple syrup.
Exactly.
Like that you could just like let that soak in with a little bit of honey or something.
Yep. No, that would be delicious. Yeah, even honey in here. I mean, I used sugar, but this recipe is so simple to bring together. It's not like you have to do anything crazy with the dry and the wet. They honestly come together so nicely. So, you know, you can make it your own for sure. And then I also have here, I actually made the other day, I didn't make it now because it needed to be in the freezer, but I made an olive oil gelato. So I made an egg-based custard, and then I had some of the amazing olive oil that you gave us last time, which I think I used that one right here.
Okay.
Yep, I think I used that one. And then just some fresh vanilla bean, and it honestly turned out really good. So I'm gonna plate this up so everyone can taste.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna finish my pesto. So I have added some lemon zest and some cheese, Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese. And now it's time to bring this together. So I'm gonna have that food processor running. You can also do this in a mortar and pestle, but I'm doing it the lazy way today. And we're gonna add olive oil until it comes together. So it's probably about 3/4 of a cup. And we're gonna loosen it up with a little bit of our pasta water. That looks really nice. And the olive oil is going to take on the flavors of all of those beautiful herbs and garlic and cheese, and it's going to really come together. I used a lot of that, sorry.
Don't worry.
And you can see here too, and I just cut a piece of this, and you can see this olive oil cake is so moist. You don't have to worry about it being dry because you have that oil base in the cake, and it's a great quality too. So you don't have to worry about, you know, nowadays with vegetable oils and things like that, it's just so unhealthy for you. And this is something that honestly, like I said, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, you can have it whenever. And then I actually am gonna put a little bit of this almond crumble that I made prior, which is just some flour, butter, some almonds. I baked it a little bit, and then I just kind of, you know, broke it up. So this is gonna be the base of where the gelato is gonna live, just to have a little bit of that crunch and texture as well. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of my pre-made gelato.
I'm dumping in my cavatelli right now, everybody.
Great. And then also, I mean, just to make it even extra special, I might even put a little bit of olive oil on top with some Maldon salt. I love a little, you know, salty, sweet flavor. It's always nice to do that. So just a little bit of Maldon on top of that gelato. And then we have some of the olive oil to put on top here. So you can see we have our gelato, our cake.
That looks so good.
And then just to make it really all about the olive oil, we're gonna do that. And that's our plate, and I'll give it to you.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Wow, the olive oil gelato looks so beautiful, and it's so yellow. It took on a nice color.
I think
we're gonna try, yeah.
I think the flavor with the olive oil and then the egg and the vanilla bean, just all fresh flavors are so important, and that's what I'm all about.
Put it there so we'll
Great.
try all together.
Great. Great.
Okay, guys, well, I dropped in some broccoli from some whole florets in here, and then also my cavatelli into my salted water that I cooked the stems in. And I have my pesto into a bowl right here. And I'm going to, once this starts floating, which it's already floating, we are going to just toss it in our pesto, and we're going to use that water to really loosen it up and bring this sauce together. And your pesto will really keep in the fridge for about a week, 2 weeks. What I like to do, I put like a nice film over the pesto to just keep it fresh, and so those herbs don't turn on you. A nice film of olive oil, haha, obviously.
That's great. And now, how are you gonna finish it with some more on top as well?
Of course, I mean, obviously. All right, so we're going into our bowl right here. And I cooked I really like cooking the broccoli in here because I like the broccoli to have a little bite to it. But you never want to put pesto on heat because it'll break. So the olive oil will come out of it. It's just heat and pesto do not work together. It's not a good combo.
I didn't know that.
Really? So a lot of chefs I find do that, and they add some sort of butter or something to kind of bring it back to life in restaurants, or heavy cream, and I don't like that. You should not do that to a pesto. There's not like a cream pesto sauce, guys. That's not how it works.
What are some of your favorite like dishes growing up that you had that like an olive oil was a big part of it?
Well, you know, lots of legumes, you know, so pasta with fagioli, you know, with chickpeas, vegetable soup, the famous bruschetta in the summer, you know, so we have a dish called acqua sale in the area where I come from, which is reminds you of the panzanella toscana, so it's something that so you need to have like great extra virgin olive oil. Actually, when we have the olio nuovo, the new extra virgin olive oil, you always have like this bruschetta with homemade bread with garlic on it,
that sounds so good.
and just you know, the new oil that comes out from the
It's the simplest things
the
that are
olive
so good.
mill. So, yeah,
Oh wow,
it's
that looks
lovely.
great. I just looked over and it was done.
It was done.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna garnish it with, I even could do a little more almonds on there. Why not? So people know if they're allergic, they know they can't eat this. A little bit of pecorino
Crotonese.
crotonese, yes. We learned about that last time. I love it. It's a really delicious cheese.
Oh, that
And then
looks
we're gonna
great.
garnish.
Once you guys finish
a little more
plating this,
olive
I think
oil.
I'm getting ready for the.
Oh, we obviously need a cocktail to go with
Yeah,
this,
we're gonna
right?
have the
Oh, you need a
cocktail, but-
cocktail.
Think say hello to our good friends at Mionetto. So
Oh my
we'll have a glass of prosecco to go
Yes,
together
please.
with this
Yes, please.
wonderful product.
That sounds great.
That does.
Oh my god, I can't wait to eat the cake.
I know.
You're good. You made 3 plates. I only made 1, but we have more.
We could all share. That's great. Yeah, and I think the most important thing too with both of these recipes is that we were just using, it's simple. It's nothing too crazy.
Yep.
You leave it up to the ingredients. The olive oil is so delicious and so, you know, this is fresh. This is not spoiled.
It
maybe what
can
you're
stand by
used to.
itself,
Yeah,
though.
it
You know,
can.
we have this bread. We have dipping. You can do tastings with it. It doesn't need all of this, right? But if you're gonna do something with it, do something simple. I
Yep.
think that's what's key.
Exactly, and make it the star of the show.
Okay, well.
Jackie.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for teaching us about olive oil today.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We learned a lot about the olive oil, and I can't wait to try this.
Salute.
Salute.